My mother responded, "We don't need your cheap gifts," and she pushed my gift away before even opening it. The exquisitely wrapped box almost knocked over the centerpiece as it slid across the table. My dad swirled his champagne and laughed. "Is this really all you could afford?" The attendees at the retirement celebration went quiet, their gazes flitting between us. My cheeks burned with the familiar pain of their rejection, but I kept my cool. "I guess you won't want what's inside then," I artificially smiled in response. "My name is Jessica Winters, and I work as a software engineer. Last year, I was promoted to senior architect at Lumen Technologies. My parents still view me as their failing daughter, the one who chose programming over their ambition of my becoming a doctor, even if my yearly income now surpasses what they could have ever imagined. I've never accomplished anything that compares to my brother Daniel's dismal accomplishments. The purpose of this Portland event is to commemorate my parents' retirement from their modest accounting business, which they have operated for 35 years. Their coworkers commend their accomplishment and effort and raise a glass to their future. As I watch my well-selected present languish on the table, I stand in the corner with my second glass of wine. Inside the package was a vacation house deed that symbolized months of hardship, saving, and planning. I had been hunting for the ideal seaside property for weekends, going up and down the Oregon coast. Having one was always my parents' desire. For this moment I had signed mountains of paperwork, worked long on projects, and liquidated investments. Their constant dissatisfaction with me has now spoiled this occasion. "You seem so nervous, Jessica." For her friend's advantage, my mother smiled and yelled, "You'll get wrinkles. Come join the celebration instead of sulking." Daniel came over with Catherine, his wife, and they both gave me pitying glances that somehow made the situation worse. A crystal vase that Daniel, our parents' cherished firstborn, track star, and business school graduate, had brought was now prominently placed on the main table. Daniel squeezed my shoulder and said, "Don't let them get to you." As my father held court across the room, I pretended to be Oak. My real estate agent buzzed a notice on my phone. Final documentation was completed. Your name was formally added to the property. Well done. I didn't miss the irony. While my parents were busy ignoring the beach home as a useless possession, it was now officially mine. I took another look at the present package and considered returning it. Nobody would be aware of their loss. From the other side of the room, my Aunt Elaine looked at me curiously. She was aware of the contents of the package. She also understood, based on her look, that something terrible was going to happen. Living in the shadow of Daniel was a part of growing up in the Winters home. I saved money from babysitting for my first computer while he got new sports gear and special instruction. My parents believed that my fascination with technology was a passing fad that I would ultimately outgrow. When I announced my computer science major, they barely concealed their disappointment. "Computers are for people who can't work with people," my father had said dismissively. Despite this, I excelled. I graduated top of my class, secured an enviable position at Lumen, and climbed the corporate ladder faster than anyone expected. Each promotion, each achievement, I'd call my parents, hoping for approval that never came. "That's nice, dear," my mother would say before quickly changing the subject to Daniel's latest accomplishment: a promotion, a new car, a house in the suburbs with Catherine. Only Aunt Elaine and Uncle Jeffrey showed genuine interest in my career. They attended my graduation when my parents claimed they were too busy with Daniel's engagement party. Elaine proudly displayed my company award photo on her mantel. Uncle Jeffrey, a retired engineer, would call to discuss my projects, understanding my work in ways my parents never attempted. I kept trying to win my parents' approval anyway. When they mentioned dreams of retiring to the coast someday, I saw my opportunity. The inheritance from my grandmother gave me the down payment. My savings and investments covered the rest. The small beach house needed work, but I spent weekends renovating it, making it perfect for them. During those months of planning, I imagined their faces when they opened the box containing the deed. I pictured tears of joy, perhaps finally an acknowledgement that I'd done something worthwhile. I decorated the master bedroom in Mom's favorite blues, stocked Dad's bar with his preferred scotch, installed high-speed internet so they could video call Daniel's kids from the sunroom. Watching them now, laughing with their friends, dismissing my gift without a second thought, I felt a familiar heaviness. Had I been foolish to hope this time would be different? Daniel approached with a fresh glass of wine. "They are in rare form tonight," he said, nodding toward our parents. "They're consistent. I'll give them that," I replied. "What did you get them, anyway?" "Something tech-related." I hesitated. Even Daniel assumed I'd chosen something self-focused or impersonal. "Just something I thought they'd like," I said vaguely. "Well, whatever it is, I'm sure they'll appreciate the thought, even if they don't show it," he offered, patting my shoulder. But I knew better. 20 years of evidence suggested otherwise. Their brief interaction with my gift had already revealed their true feelings, unfiltered disappointment, even before seeing what was inside. As the evening progressed, I retreated to the venue's outdoor patio, seeking escape from the suffocating atmosphere inside. The cool Portland air cleared my head as I stared at the city lights below. My gift remained untouched on the table, a physical manifestation of my parents' indifference. The glass door slid open behind me. Aunt Elaine stepped out, wrapping her cardigan tightly around herself. "There you are," she said, joining me at the railing. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine," I replied automatically. "Just needed some air." "Jessica, I know what's in that box." She touched my arm gently. "You can't let them treat you this way." I sighed, watching my breath form small clouds in the night air. "It doesn't matter anymore." "It does matter. What you did was incredibly generous," they shuled. The door opened again. My mother emerged, slightly tipsy from champagne, her face flushed with excitement. "There you are. We're about to cut the cake. Everyone's waiting." She glanced at Elaine. "Are you filling Jessica's head with your nonsense again, Elaine?" Aunt Elaine stiffened beside me. "Susan, your daughter got you something special. Maybe you should open her gift before assuming." "Oh, please." My mother waved dismissively. "We all know Jessica only thinks about her computer programs. Whatever's in that box is probably some tech gadget we don't need or understand." I felt something crack inside me. "Mom, you haven't even opened it." "I don't need to." She smoothed her expensive dress. "Your father and I have worked hard for everything we have. We don't need cheap gifts from someone who chose the easy path." The easy path. Years of all-nighters coding, sacrificed weekends, skipped vacations to meet deadlines. None of that registered as hard work to her. "Susan, that's enough," Aunt Elaine interjected. My mother's expression hardened. "Stay out of this, Elaine. Just because you never had children doesn't mean you can mother mine." The cruel barb landed. Elaine, who had suffered through multiple miscarriages before giving up on motherhood, visibly flinched. "Mom," I gasped. "What?" "It's true." She turned to me. "And you, instead of sulking out here, should be inside celebrating with us. Your brother gave a beautiful toast that you missed." Of course, Daniel's toast. I briefly wondered if he had mentioned me at all. "I'll be in shortly," I said quietly. My mother huffed, then returned inside without another word. Aunt Elaine and I stood in stunned silence. "I'm so sorry," I finally whispered. "Don't apologize for her," Elaine said, her voice tight with emotion. "You know Jeffrey and I have always been proud of you. The way they treat you, it's not right." Her words hung in the air between us, a truth we both acknowledged but couldn't change. Inside, someone tapped a microphone. My father's voice boomed through the speakers, thanking everyone for coming, especially his successful son who had followed in his footsteps. No mention of me. I glanced at my phone. the property notification still displayed on the screen. All that money, all that effort, all that hope, wasted on people who couldn't see past their own prejudice. I think, I said slowly, I need to make some changes. Aunt Elaine squeezed my hand, understanding in her eyes. Whatever you decide, Jeffrey and I are behind you. I nodded, a plan forming in my mind. It wasn't revenge exactly, just a rebalancing of accounts. Long overdue. The next morning, I woke with renewed determination. After 30 years of seeking approval, I'd finally reached my breaking point. I would confront my parents, make them open my gift, and force them to acknowledge their mistreatment. I arrived at their house just after 10 a.m., giving them time to recover from the previous night's celebration. My gift box, still unopened, sat on their entry table alongside other presents. "Jessica, what are you doing here?" My father looked surprised as he opened the door. He was already dressed in golf attire, clearly on his way out. "We need to talk," I said, stepping inside without waiting for an invitation, "about last night and about my gift." He sighed, checking his watch. "Can this wait? I have a tea time with the guys." "No, Dad. It can't wait. 30 years of being treated like I don't matter can't wait anymore." My mother appeared from the kitchen, coffee cup in hand. "Jessica, don't be dramatic. If you're upset about something, just say it plainly." "Fine. You both dismissed my gift without even opening it. You humiliated me in front of everyone." My father rolled his eyes. "It's just a gift. We didn't mean anything by it." "You literally asked if that was all I could afford." "Well, with that plain wrapping," my mother began. "Open it," I demanded, pointing to the box. "Open it right now." My mother exchanged a look with my father, then reluctantly picked up the box. She unwrapped it slowly, as if bracing for disappointment. When she lifted the lid and saw the envelope inside, her expression remained skeptical. "What's this? Some sort of gift card?" "Read it," I insisted. She opened the envelope and pulled out the deed to the beach house. I watched as confusion gave way to comprehension. "This is a property deed?" she asked, her voice uncertain. "A beach house on the Oregon coast," I confirmed. "The one you always talked about wanting. I bought it for you. It's fully paid off, renovated, and furnished." My parents stared at the papers, then at me, speechless for once. "Jessica," my father began, his tone softening, "this is incredibly generous. We had no idea." For a moment, I felt the satisfaction I'd been seeking. They finally saw me, recognized my success, my generosity. "We're so proud of you," my mother added, reaching to hug me. "This is the most thoughtful gift." It should have been a perfect resolution, but something felt wrong. Their immediate pivot from dismissal to effusive gratitude felt calculated rather than genuine. Had the value of the gift changed their perception of me, or merely their reaction? "When can we see it?" my father asked, already reaching for his phone. "I should cancel my golf game. We could drive out today." My mother was examining the pictures I'd included. "It's beautiful. And right on the beach. Wait until we tell everyone." "Tell everyone what?" I asked. "That your disappointment of a daughter actually did something worthwhile." They exchanged uncomfortable glances. "Jessica, we never said you were a disappointment," my mother protested. "Not in those exact words," I conceded, "but you've made it clear my entire life." "That's not fair," my father said. "We've always supported you." "When? When you refused to come to my graduation? When you belittled my career? When you pushed my gift aside without opening it because you assumed it was cheap and worthless?" My mother's expression hardened. "If you're going to be ungrateful about our reaction, maybe you shouldn't have given us anything at all." And there it was, the familiar dismissal, repackaged as my failure to appreciate their sudden change of heart. "You know what? You're right." I reached for the deed, but my mother pulled it back. "This is our gift. You gave it to us." "Actually," I said, "the property transfer isn't complete until you sign the acceptance forms. Those papers just show intent to gift." It was a lie, but they didn't know that. My father frowned. "What are you saying, Jessica?" "I'm saying I'm reconsidering my gift." The atmosphere in the room transformed instantly. My mother's face paled, while my father's reddened with anger. "You can't be serious," he sputtered. "You can't just dangle a gift like this and then take it back." "Why not? You rejected it before you knew what it was." "That was different," my mother insisted. "We didn't know it was something so substantial. The implication hung in the air between us. If they'd known the gift was expensive, they would have treated it, and me, differently." The realization was both illuminating and devastating. "So my worth to you is directly proportional to what I can provide?" I asked quietly. "That's not what I meant," my mother backpedaled. "We've just never seen this side of you before. We didn't realize you were so successful." I laughed without humor. "I've been telling you about my promotions and raises for years. You never listened." "We listened," my father protested, "but you know how it is with technology jobs. We never understood what any of it meant." "You never tried to understand," I corrected him. "Aunt Elaine and Uncle Jeffrey managed to figure it out." At the mention of Elaine, my mother's expression soured. "Of course Elaine would encourage your rebellious streak." "Rebellious?" I echoed in disbelief. "Is that what you call my career? My independence? My success?" "This isn't getting us anywhere," my father interjected. "Jessica, the beach house is a wonderful gift. We appreciate it. Let's move past this misunderstanding." I considered his words. Was I being unreasonable? Should I accept their sudden reversal at face value? My phone buzzed. A text from Daniel. "Mom just messaged about a beach house. What's going on?" Before I could respond, another message arrived. "She's asking if." "Summers says it's big enough for my family plus them. They were already divvying up my gift, making plans, and ensuring Daniel benefited as much as they did. I hadn't even agreed to finalize the transfer yet." I showed my father the messages. "Do you see? Nothing has changed. You're still treating me like I don't matter." His expression turned defensive. "We're just excited about the possibilities. Daniel has children who would enjoy the beach. And I'm nothing more than the bank that finances your dreams." "That's enough," my mother snapped. "You've made your point. Either give us the house properly or take it back, but stop with the dramatics." Something inside me crystallized in that moment, a clarity I'd been lacking for decades. I didn't want revenge or to hurt them. I simply wanted to stop participating in a dynamic that would never change. "Keep the deed," I said, surprising them both, "but understand what comes with it." "Meaning?" my father asked cautiously. "Meaning I'm done trying to earn your approval. The house is my final attempt. Use it, enjoy it, share it with Daniel, but don't expect anything more from me." My mother's face hardened. "Are you threatening to cut us off over one misunderstanding?" "It wasn't one misunderstanding. It was a lifetime of them." I moved toward the door. "Sign the papers or don't. Your choice. I'll have my lawyer contact you." "Jessica, wait," my father called. "We appreciate the gift. Truly, don't leave like this." I paused at the door. "You know I spent months choosing that house. I renovated it myself on weekends. I thought it would finally make you see me, really see me. But I realize now that nothing ever will." The truth of my words settled between us, heavy and irrefutable. "The keys are in the envelope," I added. "The alarm code is your anniversary date." As I walked to my car, my phone buzzed again. Aunt Elaine calling. I let it go to voicemail, needing space to process what had just happened. I'd given my parents what they wanted, but on my terms. It wasn't satisfaction I felt, but something closer to freedom. Only after I'd driven away did another realization hit me. I still owned that house. The transfer notification had confirmed it yesterday. Whatever papers they thought they needed to sign were meaningless. I spent the afternoon at a coffee shop downtown, trying to sort through my emotions. My phone buzzed constantly, calls from my parents, texts from Daniel, voicemails from Aunt Elaine. I ignored them all, focusing instead on my laptop screen. My fingers hovered over the keyboard as I logged into the property management portal. One click, and I could revoke access to the beach house. Another, and I could list it for sale. The power was dizzying after decades of feeling powerless. After my third espresso, I finally returned Aunt Elaine's call. "Jessica, what happened?" she asked immediately. "Your mother called me in hysterics about some beach house." I explained the morning's confrontation, including my parting words. "Oh, honey," Elaine sighed, "I understand your frustration, but letting them keep the house seems like surrendering." "I'm not surrendering," I explained. "I'm setting boundaries. They can have the house, but they don't get to have me on their terms anymore. But they don't deserve such a generous gift after how they've treated you." She was right, of course, but something still held me back from claiming the property, perhaps some lingering hope that the house might eventually change things, or fear that taking it back would permanently sever whatever fragile connection remained with my family. Late that evening, my doorbell rang. Daniel stood on my porch, looking uncomfortable. "Can we talk?" he asked. I let him in reluctantly. He'd always been caught in the middle of my conflicts with our parents, often supporting me in private while maintaining neutrality in public. "Mom and Dad are devastated," he began. "Because they might lose the beach house?" I asked sharply. "Because they think they've lost you," he corrected. "They realize they messed up." I laughed bitterly. "They've been messing up for 30 years, Daniel. This was just the final straw." He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Look, I know they've always been harder on you. It wasn't fair." "No, it wasn't. But they're trying to make amends. They want to have a family dinner tomorrow at the beach house. A fresh start." I stared at him, incredulous. "They're already using the house." Daniel looked sheepish. "They drove out this afternoon to see it. Mom called it their dream come true." Of course they had. Without even confirmation that the transfer was complete, they'd claimed the property as their own. "They're inviting the whole family," Daniel continued. "Aunt Elaine and Uncle Jeffrey, too. Mom even apologized to Elaine for what she said at the party." That caught my attention. My mother rarely apologized for anything. "What's really going on, Daniel?" He shifted uncomfortably. "There might be an issue with the property transfer. Dad tried calling your lawyer but couldn't reach anyone." "Because there is no lawyer," I admitted. "The house is still legally mine. The transfer notification I received was confirming my ownership, not the transfer to them." Daniel's eyes widened. "So you could still take it back?" "Yes." A complex mix of emotions crossed his face. "Are you going to?" It was the question I'd been struggling with all day. Just then, my phone chimed with an email notification. My heart nearly stopped when I saw the sender, Golden Horizon Realty. The message was brief. "Confirming your interest in listing the coastal property. Our agent can meet tomorrow to discuss pricing and timeline." I didn't remember contacting a realtor. Had I accidentally clicked something in my distracted state at the coffee shop? "Jessica, what is it?" Daniel asked, noticing my expression. The email presented an unexpected opportunity, a clean break, a definitive end to this chapter. But was I ready? My phone rang in my hand. Aunt Elaine again. "This time," I answered. "Jessica, whatever you're planning, I want you to know something first," she said without preamble. "Jeffrey and I have always dreamed of retiring to the coast, too." The pieces suddenly clicked into place. The next evening I drove to the beach house, Daniel following in his car. I'd asked him not to tell our parents I was coming. The plan was simple but effective, a clean break with no room for manipulation or misunderstanding. When we arrived, my parents' car was already parked in the driveway, along with Aunt Elaine and Uncle Jeffrey's sedan. The lights were on inside, the ocean waves crashing rhythmically against the shore beyond the back deck. "Are you sure about this?" Daniel asked as we approached the door. Completely, I replied, my voice steady. I didn't knock. I used my key, walking in to find my parents giving Elaine and Jeff a tour of their new beach house. Jessica, my mother looked startled. You came. I did, I confirmed. I wanted to see how you were enjoying the place. It's absolutely perfect, my father gushed. You've done an incredible job with the renovations. I nodded, moving to the center of the living room. Daniel hung back near the door, watching anxiously, saying, I'm glad you like it, but there's been a misunderstanding. I took out a folder with the real estate records in it. You don't own the house. It wasn't. It was not a complete transition. My parents' faces changed from bewilderment to dismay. My dad screamed, What do you mean? You gave us the deed. I showed you the deed. I amended, but legally, the house remains in my name. Mother spat, This is absurd. You're trying to punish us. No, I'm making a choice. I look to Uncle Jeffrey and Aunt Elaine. You now possess the house. The transfer procedure has already begun. With the exception of the distant sound of waves, the room became quiet. You can't do this, my father replied in a broken voice. Actually, I can, and I am. Uncle Jeffrey took the folder from me. Consider it a gift for the only parental figures who ever truly supported me. With a pale face, my mother fell into the couch. My father's expression was one of amazement as he remained still. He eventually succeeded in saying, This is how you repay us for everything we've done for you. I corrected him, saying, This is how I honor those who actually believed in me. Aunt Elaine and Uncle Jeffrey have been there for every milestone you missed, every achievement you dismissed. Aunt Elaine took a step forward, clearly touched. This is unacceptable, Jessica. It's excessive. I said, You can and you will. My financial advisor and I have already spoken. Everything is planned. My mom discovered her voice. After all we sacrificed for you? What exactly did you sacrifice? I cut you off. Daniel's education was funded by you, while I had to pay my way through college. You were too busy for my games and ceremonies, but you went to his. You disregarded my gifts, my choices, and my career. Between us, the truth lingered. With caution, my father said, Jessica, perhaps there is a compromise. There's no compromise needed, I said. The joy of publicly firing me was precisely what Mom and Dad expected from the retirement celebration, and now I have what I desire, the assurance that those who deserve it will value this place. Uncle Jeffrey gave me a shoulder squeeze. Jessica, you have our admiration, not only for this, but also for defending oneself. As my parents' vision of their beach house hideaway came to an end, they started packing up their belongings. My mother said, You'll regret this, as they made their way to the exit. Calmly, I don't think I will, I answered. Daniel stayed after they had gone. That was harsh. I told him that was necessary, instead, for all of us. Later that night, Aunt Elaine and Uncle Jeffrey took me out onto the deck to view the moonlight on the waves. I experienced calm instead of regret or resentment. The house had been returned to its original owners, and I was at last free of the never-ending quest for acceptance. Giving oneself permission to quit trying to earn love that should have been given freely all along is sometimes the most significant present you can offer yourself.